If you lived in the Final Destination universe where Death is an asshole, and he is an asshole, he's such an asshole in this universe because he like gives people premonitions on how they and the people around them are gonna die, which essentially saves them at first but then kills them off later anyway. That is fucked up. But it made me think, which deaths in the Final Destination franchise were avoidable and which weren't? Now, in these scenarios, we are not going to be the ones with the premonitions. We're going into it blind. We just happen to be around the person that does have the premonitions. Now, in Final Destination 4, the Final Destination, I guess they thought this was going to be the last Final Destination, but then after the movie came out, they're like, nah, this shit is too profitable, and they're just like, they'll forget. We'll make other ones after this one. But whatever. Now, in Final Destination 4, my friends are trying to convince me to go see NASCAR, and then I'm like, watching cars driving circles in the hot sun? No, thank you. And then they're like, come on, don't be like that. And then I'm like, fuck it, you convinced me. And then now Death is after me because of them. So thanks, guys. So now we're watching people race in circles, and I'm absolutely over it. It's been 90 laps, but there's still like 8 hours left to go. Did you know that a NASCAR race can be up to 500 laps, which is way too much? Absolutely unnecessary. That is it's an outrageous amount of laps. And then all of a sudden my boy's like, yo, everybody, we need to go. There's something terrible is gonna happen. And then I'm like, say no more, dude. I've been over it since the third lap. I've been wanting to get the fuck out of here. Yes, please. So not only did my boy just save me from like absolute boredom, but he just saved like my actual life, my actual me living. Because after we walk out, a crazy accident happens in there. Like car flips over, people get crushed by the car, by wheels, by motors and shit. And then the building starts to collapse, and then even more people die because everybody's panicking. The building is collapsing, but we're outside, we're chilling, we're good. So while we're outside, like just hanging out, chilling, having a good time, and everybody's in there dying and panicking, a tire comes from over the stadium and just wrecks the fuck out of this girl. Like her face and torso completely disappears. Like she's done. And like how do you even see that coming? There's no way. That tire definitely had something against her. So in my opinion, this death was unavoidable. So after everything that happens in the stadium, the racist guy is like really upset with the security guard because the security guard wouldn't let the racist guy go back inside the stadium to help his girlfriend. And like, first of all, the security guard was trying to help you from not going inside and killing yourself. And second of all, he didn't know that your girlfriend was inside the stadium. And also on top of that, you were the one to tell your own girl, bitch, stay inside while I go outside and be a piece of shit. And then also the thing that the racist guy doesn't like about the security guard is that the security guard is a black guy. Racist people, they don't care. They don't care too much for black people. So because of all of that, the racist guy goes to where the security guard lives, and he's like drinking and driving because he's like swerving all over the place. But then he parks like across the street from where the security guard lives, and then he takes out a shovel and a cross from behind his tow truck. And then when he takes out the shovel, it like hits some lever on the tow truck, and then a chain drops. But the racist guy doesn't give a fuck. Like he's just like, whatever, chains drop all the time, I guess. So then he goes to the security guard's front lawn, and then he starts to place the cross on his front lawn. But while he's doing that, the tow truck starts to drive off by itself, and then the racist guy's like, oh shit, my tow truck. So then he goes and he tries to stop the tow truck, but he can't because the tow truck is locked. And at the same time, gasoline is pouring from behind the truck. And when he can't get the truck open, he does a why-I-oughta to the truck. Like if that's going to teach the truck a lesson. Like the truck is going to be like, oh shit, my bad. So while he's why-I-oughtaing the truck, a hook that's attached to the chain that dropped grabs his leg and starts to drag him across the street. So while the tow truck is going and the gasoline is pouring and the chain is dragging across the street, it starts to spark, which eventually catches fire, and then it starts to burn the racist guy alive while he's being dragged across the street. And then the truck explodes, and then the racist guy dies. And this one was 100% avoidable. Like, just don't be a fucking idiot. First of all, you were drinking and driving, irresponsible. Second of all, you're not being careful with your own tow truck. Then you're why-I-oughtaing a truck, which is not going to listen to you, and then you get hooked by a chain that you dropped yourself. So yeah, this death was avoidable. Don't be a fucking idiot, please. Then some time passes by, and this lady decides that she wants to get some me time, so she goes to the salon, and while she's getting shit out of the car, her little bitch-ass kids are throwing rocks at a sign across the street, which is dangerous to begin with, but kids are gonna be kids. And I don't know who's running the salon, because the salon is a mess. Like, the chair's not working, the ceiling fan falls, and like the whole time, the movie's like trying to make you think that something terrible is gonna happen inside the salon, but nothing happens. She's fine. She gets her little makeover, and then she goes and pays. But when she steps outside, a guy is mowing the lawn across the street, and one of the rocks that the little bitch-ass kids were throwing goes under the lawnmower, and then it shoots her in the eye. Like it goes right through her face, and then she dies. And this one is completely unavoidable because she just went to go get some me time in a salon, and then she steps outside, and then a rock goes under a lawnmower, and then it gets shot up in her face. Like, that one's unavoidable. That one there's no way to see that coming. So and it happened way too quick. Like, what the fuck do you know that a rock is gonna shoot you in the face? There's no way to know that. So that one's unavoidable. So now we're at the part of the movie where Nick, Lori, and George, which is the security guard, goes to the body shop where the mechanic is, and they try to warn him, like, yo, people have been dying ever since the race. And the mechanic isn't being an asshole, but he's also like not fucking believing them. He's like, dude, I work around danger shit all the time. If death was meant to kill me, I would have died by now, which is literally not how that works. Like, you die when you die, dumbass. So while he's having that conversation with them outside, one of the vans rolled down the ramps and it almost crushes him alive, but it gets stopped by like the world's strongest rope. And then he's like, ugh, well, I guess it's not my turn to die. And while he's saying that, the same thing that was holding the rope hits a gas tank, and that gas tank flies through the air, and it like pushes him against a fence that I guess was made out of Wolverine's claws, because it just like slices him wide open, and then he dies. Which this one is completely unavoidable, because if I'm that guy and I almost get crushed by a van but it doesn't kill me, I'm gonna think I'm good. I'm gonna think I'm chilling, at least for today. Like, there's no way I'm gonna die today, right? And then that gas tank flying through the air and like pushing him against that sharp ass fence, which I've never seen a fence that sharp. Is that not like kind of crazy? But whatever, that shit just came out of nowhere. That's not on him. So yeah, that one's unavoidable. Then Johnny Test is chilling by the pool, and this kid is like spraying him with a water gun, and he doesn't like that shit at all. So then he takes the water gun from the kid and places it to the side, but where he places it is where the pool drain is, and then that same water gun falls into the pool drain switch, and then the pool starts to drain, but he doesn't notice. So then he goes back to the pool side, and then he's like chilling by the pool, having a drink and like playing with his little quarter, and then a golf ball hits him. But then that quarter falls into the pool, and then he like goes after the quarter. I guess it's his lucky quarter or whatever, but like whatever, he wants to go into the pool to get the quarter. What he did not know that his asshole was gonna get sucked up into the drain, which it does, and then all his organs get slurped up, and then he dies. Now, I think this one is unavoidable because he looks like an athletic guy, and he looks like he's capable of surviving a lot of shit. So I'm assuming that the suction in that drain must have been insane, and not like the good type of suction either. I mean like the type of suction that literally pulls your organs out of your body. So yeah, this one was unavoidable. Now, I know that the girl in the car wash doesn't die, but she was about to die if these guys wouldn't have saved her. But like, this one was so avoidable. Like, there's no reason to almost have died in that situation. And like, I understand that she's not as strong as me, and I would have been able to just fucking break that sunroof and been able to escape fine, but she couldn't, whatever. But bitch, you have side windows, and even if the car wouldn't open and the windows wouldn't go down, you have that headrest that has that metal part that you can just break the window with, and then all the water would have flown out through there, and you would have been chilling. You wouldn't have had your head stuck. So I just want to mention that one is totally avoidable. Then we find out that one of the guys that was in the racetrack is in critical condition in the hospital, and on top of him is an old guy getting physical therapy, and they're like putting him in a tub, and the nurse is being negligent. Of course, every single time in all of these movies, there's always a negligent worker, like without fail, because the nurse just leaves the old man in the room, and the tub is like overflowing. Like, he didn't even turn it off before leaving the room for 45 minutes. So as the tub is overflowing, like the water starts to drip downstairs where the guy in critical condition is, and he's hooked up to a whole bunch of shit. And then he eventually starts to unhook himself from all these things, and he like crawls away, like he's getting himself to safety, like he's being smart. Then the roof collapsed from like all the weight of the water, and then that tub falls on him and crushes him to death. And this one is completely unavoidable. Like, first of all, he is fucked up, and he still managed to get out of the bed and like crawl pretty far away, but he just happened to be right under that fucking fat ass tub. So yeah, this one's unavoidable. Then Nick and George walk out of the hospital, and they're having a conversation, and then they cross the street without looking both ways, by the way, and then George gets destroyed by a van, which this one is completely avoidable. Bitch, look both ways. So while this is happening, Lori and Janet are in the movies, and then Lori is like feeling uneasy, and she's like, I think we should get out of here. And Janet is like, oh, you're just being paranoid. Which, are you fucking stupid? Have you not seen everything that has gone on, and you're not a little bit paranoid? And Lori's right, because behind the screen, there's about to be an explosion that's gonna kill everybody in that movie theater. So while they're having that argument, Nick walks into the movie theater, and he's like, yo guys, we need to get out of here right now. And Lori's like, say no more, I'm out. And then Janet is like, no, I'm staying right here, and I'm watching the movie, and you guys can't do anything about it. And then, of course, the fucking theater explodes, and everybody dies, including her stupid ass. And that death would have been completely avoidable. Like, how are you not paranoid? And if your friend is telling you, yo, I think something bad is gonna happen, listen to her. You've already seen everything else that's happened. So that's just her being a fucking idiot. So yeah, that one is avoidable. After that explosion happens, Nick and Lori are trying to get away, and they're running down the escalator, and then an even bigger explosion happens that causes the escalator to like break apart. But for some reason, the escalator still works and is still going down, but the machinery under the escalator is exposed, and then Lori like falls into it and dies. And this one is unavoidable because she's like trying her best to grab onto whatever she can to like get away, and Nick is even trying to grab her, but like there's nothing he could really do. Like, he can't stop the escalator and grab her at the same time. So yeah, that one's unavoidable. Oh, but it turns out that it was another premonition. So like they're all good, not George. George got fucked up for real. He was, yeah, that one really happened. So from that premonition, Nick is able to stop like everything that causes the explosion, and they're all fine, and then everybody lives. Until they're all at a coffee shop and they're chilling, having a good time, and then while they're having a good time, Nick is like feeling uneasy. He's like, fuck, like there's something wrong. And like he's starting to look at signs and shit, but by that time it's too late because a fat ass truck rams into the store and then kills them all, and they all die. And then that's how the movie ends. And in my opinion, their death was completely unavoidable. Like that truck came out of nowhere. There was nothing for them to do there. So yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please give a like and subscribe if you haven't. Part 5 coming out soon. Have a good night, good time, good life.